everyone, this is Jewelyn. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Pot of Fame. At one point on the channel, this was a monthly series where I highlight a handful of plant babies in the collection that is doing really well. With a huge collection, this was a way for me to share with you throughout the year handful of plants once a month which are doing great. And it was nice to have a digital diary of the collection throughout the years. So if you're new to the channel, if you go to my homepage and look under Pot of Fame, I'm probably maybe 30 plus episodes into this series that I enjoy sharing with you guys how I am doing in my plant world. I have not been with the collection very much in the last about year and a half to 2 years. Last year I was traveling a lot and I wasn't really in Santa Monica, and this year I'm spending most of the year so far dancing in Las Vegas. So I'm trying to find a balance right now with all of my careers and also maintaining the collection here. And I will share more on this Thursday's check-in what's going on with my plant life in Santa Monica, because I'm basically here for maybe a total of 3 days for the month of March. So it is what it is, and I'm sure all of you guys can relate that sometimes life just happens, and if you have a huge collection like me and things are shifting in your life, you have to find some kind of balance. And I will share more on my thoughts and an update on the collection this Thursday's check-in. But for today's video, if you guys have been with me for a while, you know I love this monthly series Pot of Fame, and I'm gonna dive right into it. The first plant I want to highlight is actually a very, I want to say it's rare for me. This is a Philodendron, if I'm not mistaken, hybrid of the emerald, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, when I purchased the plant years ago, there was no ID on it. It just was a hybrid, I think, of Philodendron emerald. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Now, this plant was originally 5 feet tall, and I actually had it growing in my Santa Monica studio along my one window with my other Philodendron, which I actually cut apart. And maybe in the future, before I go abroad in a month, we can check on the cuttings to see how they're doing. I don't want to disturb them right now, but for whatever reason this plant was looking a little crazy, so I cut the top part off, which is propagating probably around the same time as the bipennifolium, and it is actually in my bathroom. I don't want to disturb it now, but this section was actually a little baby, probably this small, and I decided to put it in a smaller planter and stick it in my bathroom. And all of this is all new growth, which is crazy to me. It was very stressful for me to like having to take a big cutting off of the mother plant. It just was looking like the middle section just was, it didn't make me happy. So it was a tough decision, like my bipennifolium, to cut it, and hopefully it's rooting really good. And what I would do, I would stick it back in this planter and start all over again. So this is definitely something that I enjoy coming home to. I haven't been here for 2 weeks, and that was just for a day when I was last year, and again same today, just for the day. So this is a nice, very fun update to look at when I came into the bathroom in the middle of the night, because I was really worried about this thing. It's a very rare plant, and I think a lot of the plants in my collection, to the point where I don't think I would be able to find it again unless I really try hard or have to order them online. But this plant has been in the collection for, I want to say, 6 years. So comment down below if that has ever happened to you in your plant life, where you had to make a decision to take a huge cutting from the top of the plant to save it and then start all over. So that's kind of the stage at where this Philodendron is at. Also, speaking of Philodendrons in my bathroom, I want to highlight another. For me, I think this is a red emerald, but I could be wrong. When I got it, they said Prince of Orange it was labeled. And if you guys remember, one of my big purchases, I drove 90 miles one way just for this Prince of Orange. It was huge. It didn't like the rain, and I will talk about the rain on Thursday's check-in, and it's kind of out of my control. But it died and all of the leaves fell off. And then I came across this one in the Bay Area I want to say sometime last year, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna repurchase the Prince of Orange. But to me, I don't know if it's a Prince of Orange. To me, it looks like a red emerald. Comment down below. I feel like as it gets older, the colors will show more, but I swear my Prince of Orange was a little bit more orange than this one. I wanted to share with you this section here that is doing really good. This lives in my bathroom, and I think when I'm back from my international trip, I'm going to repot this one into a bigger planter. But for now, I'm gonna just leave it in this planter, which I got from Daiso, because the root ball is probably not that big. So a very fun update to see that section growing. And with that being said, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a mixture of what's going on in the collection. So this is a very fun update on my Rhipsalis. In fact, a lot of them right now are in bloom. I will share a few in today's video. I am just a huge fan of them, and if you can see here, it is in bloom. Yeah, they're just super tiny. Obviously, like, I can't dry them. I think they would just look like nothing, but it's just fun to see them pop up and welcome me back to California. And I've had this plant now at least for 6 years, and I just love the characteristic. This plant is living on my like little plant shelf that looks like a ladder from one of my subscribers. It lives there. Very fun personality. And in contrast to that, I will share with you another Rhipsalis that is living in my patio. This is one of my prized Rhipsalis that I've had. I think maybe this was my first Rhipsalis I ever got in my collection, the Dancing Bones Rhipsalis. And it's just such a cool plant. This is from my neighborhood nursery here in Santa Monica, and as you can see, it's going to start giving me these beautiful blooms. And I will take you at the end of the video to another Rhipsalis hanging along my patio that's also about to bloom for me. But a very, very fun plant to have. And actually, like, take a look at it. It's so top heavy. I don't know what to do with it. It almost seems like it wants to trail, which is interesting for me to see. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I'm kind of scared to touch it. Or I could have it like stand up again here. I don't know, but honestly, I feel like it wants to start training. But other than that, it's in really good condition, and I've had this plant for, yeah, at least 6 years or so. Never had a problem. It's probably been in my Pot of Fame series at least 2 or 3 times, because it's always giving me new growth and it blooms for me every season. But these blooms, unfortunately, I can't dry them and save them. They're very hard, and they're so tiny. So it's just something that I can share here on the channel, take pictures, and then wait for it to come again next season. But yeah, even this section right here, as you see, it's growing for me, so I'm happy about that. Very common plant, the string of pearls. I wanted to highlight this plant because it's a common plant, but at the same time, when I purchased this plant probably 2 years or so, it was literally nothing. It was here, and it's one of these plants where you just kind of forget about them. So it works well with my lifestyle right now. But as you see, this is all new growth, so I want to definitely try to keep this one alive with my crazy schedule of not being around. But this is such an easy propagator. You can easily, if you look really, really good, you can see there's little roots here. And what you can do is actually, like, I see people like even just laying it, you know, on top of soil, and it'll eventually root. So if you have this hanging, you want to be very careful, because if it's laying in a planter like this, it'll start rooting, and it'll be like very hard for you to like get it out so that it's not attaching to another plant. But very fun update, a little small win for the collection. Comment down below if you collect Senecio, and if you have a string of pearls, how do you like them? I know it's a common plant in my part of the world, and I probably had a really big mother plant at one point, and of course my variegated one, I'm trying to think, like sometime last year something happened to it, and I don't know if it was a squirrel or something, but my variegated string of hearts and string of pearls just disappeared like randomly in the patio, and the planter was empty. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it because I was really upset about that. But very fun update on a common plant. One of my subscribers gifted me this plant. I will throw up the name of this plant if I can find it. I want to say it's very similar to a pickle plant, which I have in the collection. But take a look at this growth. I actually remember gifting some of my plant friends part of the plant, and I believe they're doing really good in their collection. But this was gifted to me from a subscriber. It's kind of funky. I don't know what I should do with it. Like, I might wanna maybe put it in a different planter the next time I do a planting, but I think like for now it's going to stay in this terracotta planter. Comment down below if you have this plant and how is it looking, how big it is. But I wanted to share at least one plant that was gifted to me from one of you guys and share with you just kind of how it's going. And I feel like this plant is a very quirky plant where it grows in like weird directions. I'm probably gonna fix it up when I go through the patio after this. But this is living on my succulent shelf, and so far so good. I can also see here new growth here, which is very fun to see. So very fun update in this part of the collection in the patio. Now I want to share with you two plants that are one of my favorites in the collection, Aeoniums. And they're very top heavy, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may like somehow, maybe I'll probably add more soil and then somehow maybe have them stake up here because they're so top heavy. But let me turn it around so you can see what's going on. Look at this. I can't believe it. I think it's going to sprout out for me and give me blooms. Also, I think it's very fun to see a bloom back here. Like, I am a huge fan of Aeoniums. I just love these beautiful rosettes, and I've never seen the Aeonium like look like this unless it looks like this while I'm traveling and then I come home and it's like a long bloom stalk like this one here, which I'll share with you the update. I'm actually drying blooms from this one, and I want to make earrings or something or put them in bookmarks. I think they're gonna look very pretty. So I have yet to play with the blooms yet, but I think every time I'm coming home in 2 weeks it's giving me new blooms. But all of the bees from like my neighbors keep coming to this Aeonium. It's very gorgeous, but I'm a huge fan. So comment down below, what do you think? It's absolutely stunning. But yeah, I'm gonna fix this one up. I love collecting Aeoniums. They're like my favorite. Another Aeonium to share with you in today's video. I'm just like, look at this. Obsessed with it. I'll give it a spin. So I think it's living here on the shelf. I think what I'm gonna do is just turn it around so that it can get maybe shifted a little bit more, and then it'll be a little bit more center. But I just wanted to share with you. Actually, my grandma actually suggested I share this plant in today's video because it's so full and lush and doing really well. Tons of new growth everywhere, and I haven't had any issues with this Aeonium, and you will understand why I say that when I share on Thursdays, checking what's going on here in the collection. But these are the immediate plants that I wanted to share with you in today's video. Let's wrap up the video with going around the collection and sharing with you the larger plants that I can't bring here. And I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of what's going on here in California. Honey, what's that in your mouth, baby? Your bone? Do you want to share with the channel how our Aeonium is doing? Yeah? So this is my mother plant, which I'm very proud of. As you can see, it's been producing me the most beautiful blooms. I've harvested from it, well, 3 times now. But as you can see, there's still a handful of blooms that are still waiting to open up. I am going to harvest them and dry them before I go back to Las Vegas. So very fun update. and it's doing absolutely amazing. So proud. Also, you can see this Aeonium too is doing really good with the blooms. It's not as big and full, but it's still doing really good as well. So very fun update on this Aeonium. So I want to share with you, as you can see on this very gorgeous epiphyllum, that is going to start blooming for me. Take a look at that. So it'll probably happen when I'm traveling abroad. So here's another fun update. I believe I'm going to be getting, I want to say, hot pink blooms on this epiphyllum. And actually I feel like I rescued this one because I've had like maybe 3 separate planters and they were all in rough condition, as you can see, but I wanted to save them because I knew that one day it would bloom for me. So this is going to be the first time that it produces any blooms. So hopefully they will all come for me, and either me or grandma will be here to save them. So I will give more updates. As you can see, it's a very special time of the year for me. And here is another fun update on another Rhipsalis. As you can see, doing really good, and it will be blooming for me as well. That is going to wrap up Pot of Fame, I guess you could say, for the month of February, March. And I would like to do another Pot of Fame in a month before I head out of country. And I think that'll be also a good time for me to look over the collection one more time before I start traveling again. But it is definitely not easy with my schedule the past year and a half of not really being in Santa Monica with the collection. I'm trying my best to keep the collection alive and maintain the collection with me being away, and also with the weather. It's been raining a lot in California, and I will talk about all of that in this coming Thursday's check-in. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on another Pot of Fame. And if you've been with me for a while, I hope you guys enjoy this series where I can share with you a handful of plant babies that are doing good in the collection, whether it is in Santa Monica or Las Vegas. And I will see you very soon. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Subscribe for daily uploads between the main channel and the vlog channel. You get a video each and every day. Shop small, jewelyn.com for any of my handmade resin art or grandma's handmade goods. And I will see you very soon. Aloha from Santa Monica, California. Happy planting.